Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos on Wednesdays and on Saturdays, so please make sure to back on those days in order to watch new content. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. If you are a beginner or if you are a person who wants to brush up on your skill, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo how to make a jumpsuit for you to watch and decide if it will be convenient for you to learn online. If you're interested, send a Telegram message number that you can see on the screen. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the video. Continue to have a lovely day. Bye. Alright, you're welcome to this video. This video is a continuation of the most recent video that I made, how to draft a two-piece sleeve. That sleeve is part of this jacket. So if in case you are trying to make a full jacket, you need to see the video on how to draft the sleeve in order to complete the entire outfit. So in this video I'll show you how to draft a blazer that has a scarf-like lapel attached to it. So let's begin. The first thing you're going to do is from the edge you are going to keep a space of 1.5 inches. So from the edge I'm going to keep a space of 1.5 here from the edge of the paper everywhere. Okay, after you've kept the 1.5 inches in front of everywhere, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to keep our regular ½ inch at the shoulder. Okay, so we're going to draw from the edge of the paper down to here ½ inch everywhere. So that's where we're going to place our shoulder measurements. This 1.5 that we have in front of here is the contains our sewing allowance and the extra allowance that we would need so that the front crosses into one another and it will button with ease. So that's why we have this 1.5 in front. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place all my vertical measurements. Now these are measurements that come from your shoulder going all the way down. For example, we have your jacket length. For this example, the jacket length that we are working with is 27. So I'm going to make a mark at 27. Okay, the underbust length that we're working with is 15. I'm going to make a mark at 15. I'm going to place the bust at 11 because to find my bust point I count 4 inches from my underbust length. The next thing I'm going to place is the shoulder to where we have the belly button. So for that I'm going to place that at 19 inches. That's from the shoulder to where you have the navel. Okay, and after we have gotten all these points, the next thing we're going to do is just rule lines across all these places. Okay, after you have done all of that, after you've placed all your lines across, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place all our horizontal measurements. Now, horizontal measurements are measurements where the tape goes around your body, like your bust, your underbust, and all of that. Your underbust round, your waist measurement, and all of that. So the bust measurement we're working with is 45. 45 divided by 4 is 11.25. Okay, the next thing we're going to place is the underbust round. So this is the underbust length. From here, from the shoulder to the underbust length was 15. So we'll place our underbust round on that point right now. So the underbust round that we are working with is 38. Okay, 38. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'm going to place 9.5 down here. Now the next thing I'm going to place is the waist measurements, or the distance around the person's belly. Okay, from here to here is the shoulder to the navel, and the circumference around where your belly button is. That's the next measurement I'm placing down here. And for that we have 41. 41 divided by 4 is 10.25. So I'm going to place 10.25 down here. And then now the next thing is, what do you place on the end of the jacket? Now this jacket sits around just before where we have the hip measurement. But what you would do is this: if you are making this for a person that has a lot of hip, what I would do for a jacket that goes all the way down is I would place the hip measurements maybe minus ½ inch down here. But if I'm working with a person that's, you know, that doesn't have a big hip, or that has like a balanced body like the person that I'm working with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the waist measurements, I'm going to add 2 inches to it, and I'm going to place it down here. So here we place 10.25. 10.25. So yeah, I'm just going to place 12 down here. After you have done that, you can now connect all these points together. so you can see this, we have the basic curve on the side. So the next thing is to attend to the top part of the body, that's the shoulder area. So the shoulder measurement that we're working with is 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to place 9 inches. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slope the armhole by 1 inch. So you come down by 1 inch and make a mark. You see, from the shoulder, come down by 1 inch. You see that, and when you've made your mark, you connect this front point here to this point. After you have done that, the next thing you're going to do is you need to place the armhole measurement. So to find the to get the armhole, you're going to do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. 45 divided by 6 plus 1.5 gives us 9 inches. Okay, so I'm going to place that now. So you're going to start from here and you're going to come down and place make a mark from here. You place your tape at this slope, at the points where you slope, and then you're going to come down to where your armhole is, make a dot, and then you're going to connect the lines together. Okay, and then you're going to make your curve. When you're making your curve, make sure that at the middle of your armhole you come in. Okay, so you see what I've done there. I've made a curve from here all the way in. If you're a beginner and you don't understand some things like this armhole and stuff, see my video on how to draft a body, where I break down all of that. Now we have the basic bodies that we are working with. Now, unlike a jacket that has a regular lapel, this blazer has like a scarf lapel going on, so that will be added during the sewing process, which I will show you guys. But as for the drafting, what you're going to do next is you're going to need to place the neckline width. When you are placing the neckline width for this jacket, what you're going to do is this. If you are dealing with a person the similar body size, maybe like from a bust of 44, a broad shoulder like mine, a strong shoulder at 17, 18, what you're going to do is you're going to come here and you're going to place 2.75. Okay, 2.75 for the neckline width. Okay, so from here, not from the beginning of the paper, from here down to here, 2.75. If you are making this for let's say a person with a shoulder of around 15, 14, 16, I'll have placed 2.5 for that neckline width. Okay, and now after you're done with that, next thing you need to decide is how low do you want the lapel to sit. All right, how low down do you want the lapel to sit? That's the next thing you have to figure out before we roll the line that I'm about to show you. Okay, so remember that this from this point here down to here is the shoulder to where you have the belly button. So I want the opening to stop just before you get to the waist area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up by 2 inches and I'm going to make a mark. So I'm going to make an X here. So from here to here, 2 inches, I've made an X there. Now what you want to do is you want to make a curve from here to here that comes out from here. So it's going to come like this and sweep out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a curve. Okay, so you see what I was talking about? It came from up here and then it swept until it came out. Alright, so after you've done this, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to keep ½ inch allowance at the shoulder, and then you're going to also keep 2 inches of allowance at the bottom. Okay, so from here to here, 2 inches. Now at this point you can decide what you want to do with your jacket. If you want to hold a regular dart at this point, or if you want a princess dart that will run from the shoulder all the way down to here. So for this jacket, we're going to use a princess dart for the jacket. So let's get to it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to measure from this main line, this first line that we had here. We're going to measure in using the person's bust point to bust point divided by 2 plus half. So the bust point to bust point is 10 divided by 2, 5 plus half, 5.5. So I'm going to place that at the bust, and all these first horizontal lines that I wrote, I'll place it at all those points. Okay, now after you have done all of that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure your armhole to get the middle in order to know where to place the beginning of your princess dart. So you start from the shoulder, measure to this point. Okay, so after you've measured to this point, I have 11. So from here to here is 11. Half of that is 5.5. So I'm going to measure from here. I'm going to come 5.5 and make a mark. And that 5.5 is where I would now connect to my dart. So you see that? Still the same thing. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come ½ inch on top and ½ inch under, and I'm going to make curves and connect it to the bust line. So you see. Now, after you have done that, because of this 1 inch that you've taken away from the top, so that the armhole relaxes, you have to increase your dart point by 1 inch at this point, okay? And then you're going to extend this line to that point, and then you're going to curve the armhole back in, okay? Okay, so you see that now that's what you're going to do there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come to your underbust round, so that's over here. And I'm going to take away only ½ an inch on both sides, because I want the darts to, you know, be very, very subtle. I don't want a very extreme dart. This is not a padded blouse. So I'm going to just do ½ inch on both sides at the underbust round for this particular jacket. I'm going to open up to that. And then you're going to now close it back as you taper down to the end of the line. You see that? Now, because of all these excesses that we've taken out, we need to pay them back before we can proceed. Okay? So from here, I took away 1 inch. We're going to pay 1 inch back here. Okay? From here, you see this excess that we have here. We're going to need to pay for it. So I'm going to pay just ½ an inch. Don't pay 1 inch back here. Just pay ½ an inch back here, even though we took away 1 inch at that point. Pay ½ an inch back there. Connect all your lines together before we add a regular allowance. Okay, so you can see what I did. I connected it to here, and when I tapered in the excess back in normally with the body. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my regular allowance of 1.5 inches everywhere. Okay, so you see that. So the next thing I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cut it out. So this is how I'm going to go about it. So these are the patterns that we would use for the front of the jacket. Alright, so now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to draft slits. So in order to create provision for the vents at the back, that's the slits at the bottom of the jacket, we're going to keep 2.5 inches everywhere. Okay, and then I'm going to keep my ½ inch for my shoulder at the top. Okay, and then from here I'm going to place all my measurements as I did in the front. So all my vertical measurements, I'm going to place them, and then I'm going to place my horizontal measurements just like what I did in the front. Okay, so you can see we have drafted the bodice that is quite similar to the first one that we did. So whatever you place for your neckline width, so the 2.75 I placed in front, I'm going to place the same thing at the back, but then I'm only going to slope my neck by ½ an inch. So from the top down to here, ½ an inch, here to here is 2.75 inches. That is it for that part. So next thing I'll have to show you is how you go about the princess darts for the back, because there has to be a dart at the back too. You can hold regular darts at the center of the back, but if you want to do a princess dart, this is how you go about it. You do the same thing you did at the front. You measure the armhole around. So on this part here it is 10 because I didn't curve into the armhole. So the middle of the armhole is supposed to be 5. But when you are marking your darts for the back for this jacket, you're going to need to go up by 1 inch. So if the middle of the armhole is 5, you're going to go up to 4 and make a mark. Then after you've done that, you're going to place you can place 5 from here all the way down. So that's the bust divided by 2 the bust point to bust point divided by 2, that is 5, but I'll not add half inch to it. I'll just place the 5 all the way down. So make sure you do the same thing using your bust point to bust point at the back. Okay, after you have done that, you connect this point to this new bust point, to the new point at the armhole. Okay, now what I want you to do is, after you get to this point here, this exact point, I want you to come out by half an inch and make a mark. So you see, distance from here to here, half inch, make a mark there, and then curve the armhole back. Now don't come down by half and go up by half for the back. Leave that part there, like so. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to come to this part here, that's the waist, the shoulder to navel, this way you place the shoulder to navel, and then I want you to go on both sides half an inch from the center of the line. Mark half inch to the right and half inch to the left and half inch to the right. Then you're going to come from this bust point, you're going to open up to this point. Okay, so we have done this part here. So the next thing we're going to do is, we're going to come in at this waist area, we're going to come in by half an inch. You see this here, we're going to come in by half an inch at this point, and then we're going to connect this part of the neckline to this part over here. Then the next thing you want to do is, you want to mark half inch in front of that line. This is what we're going to use as a sewing allowance. So after the waistline that you have here, half inch after the waistline that you have, you make a mark at that point. You see that half inch after the waistline, you make a mark. And then what you are going to do is, you are going to come out. So you see these 2.5 inches that we kept here, we are going to come out 2 inches, make a mark at the waist. You are going to come down to your allowance. Okay, I hope it's entering. Yeah, you're going to come down to your allowance, you are going to come out 2 inches, make a mark. Okay, then we're going to connect here these 2 inches together from here to here. We're going to connect these 2 inches together here to here. So you see that this contraption, this place I just created with my pink marker right now, this place here is where we're going to have our slit. So at the back, I want to show you guys how to make a vent for the back of your jacket. So I want to show you guys how to make this sort of this suit vent for the back of your jacket, so that you guys will start implementing that in your jackets. Don't forget to have your half inch at the shoulder here. Okay, so your half inch for sewing allowance, please don't forget to add it at the shoulder. And also, sorry, I forgot to add my allowance on the side, so please make sure that you do the same. You're going to first pay back this 1 inch that we have here, over here. After that, I'm going to keep my regular allowance of 1.5 inches everywhere on the side. This is how to draft the back. I've shown you how to draft the front. That's all you need for drafting this blazer. So I'm going to go ahead to use these patterns to cut the fabric. I'll put the fabric on the fold before I cut, but I will show you all of that in the video I will drop on how to sew this jacket. So let me go ahead and do that. But that's how you cut the front and that's how you cut the back. Stay tuned for the video on how to sew it. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.